back.
Of course. Yeah, it's good to see you, and look forward to doing your podcast later today. All right, I got to start off by asking you this, Brooklyn Dad. We were told that the ballroom would be $200 million in private funds. Then we were told it was going to be $400 million. I knew it was all BS. And now Republicans are trying to put forth the bill for taxpayers to spend $1 billion on this ballroom. What are your thoughts on this?
It was a lie. It was always a lie. And I, like you, I knew from Jump Street. I was like, as soon as he said, not a penny will come from taxpayers, I was like, in fact, every penny will be from taxpayers. I absolutely knew it. I don't know why the press continues to buy his malarkey.
Yeah, you're right.
Can I say malarkey here?
I like the Joe Biden terms. I like malarkey. Yeah, they've been lying about it now for how long? And then they used an alleged attempted assassination attempt to push this narrative. I wanted to ask you about that too, because I talked a little bit about this on Pierce last week, and that you had all these MAGA grifters in unison getting paid to share the same message, which was, this is why we got to build the ballroom. I think they knew that they were going to try to put this bill through a long time ago. And that's probably why they had all these grifters on the right in unison putting out these tweets an hour after this assassination attempt. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The whole thing came off as orchestrated, and the people clutching their pearls. How dare you accuse us of staging this obviously unstaged event where all of our influencers just happen to tweet the same exact thing all over the place at the same time. How dare you?
Yeah. It's so insane. It really is so insane. Like they're all obviously on some sort of thread getting paid money to spew this garbage, and the fact that some of their supporters or supporters of the president are so stupid they don't even understand that. It's amazing to me. But welcome to Donald Trump's base, right? And then we have this Spirit fiasco, right, where you have Spirit that has gone belly up, and
Joe Biden's fault. It's
right.
Joe Biden's fault.
Right. That's what they're saying. You had Spirit Airlines that put out a public statement that said the main reason why they did this was because of oil prices. Yeah. And they're blaming Joe Biden, Brooklyn Dad.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have any ideas. That's the problem. They don't have any ideas, and they don't believe in the nonsense that they pitch about personal responsibility. They don't believe that. It's it's your responsibility, and we will take all of the credit but none of the blame. And they get that cue from their leader, from Donald Trump, who never accepts responsibility for anything. When anything goes wrong, he's not the guy to look for. And it begs the question, like, we're over 470 plus days with him in office, and you're still blaming President Biden? Like, if you didn't want to be responsible for anything, why did you take the job? Wait, I know. He took the job because he wanted to stay out of prison.
Yeah, and I'm not convinced that he's going to leave. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's just going to pleasantly go away either. Then, meanwhile, today you had Trump's chief economic advisor literally on national television on Fox Business.
Kevin Hassett.
Yeah, he's literally bragging about the fact that there are Americans that are surviving on credit cards. He's
for gas. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, dude, that's not the flex you think it is. He's bragging. Oh, Americans are spending spending so much on using credit cards for everything. It's like, dude, that is a warning signal. That's a warning sign. That's what happened during the last pandemic. So stop bragging about that.
I want to read you a quote from Representative Wesley Hunt, who happens to be a black man who is a supporter of Donald Trump. This is a quote. He was on one of the right-wing networks earlier today. Brooklyn Dad, I want to read this for you. Okay?
I saw it. It's sickening.
Quote,
go ahead.
Quote, despite the fact that his life is in danger, he still gets up, goes to the White House lawn, and teaches kids how to do the Trump dance. This guy is a machine. This is our guy. We must follow suit or we're going to lose our country.
Dude, first, I'm laughing because First of all, I'm amazed that you and I like literally saw like all of the same clips, and we were like, "What?" I felt my gag reflex come up when he was spewing that stuff. Seriously, it was sickening that a grown man would think that Donald Trump, pretending that his life is in danger, going to the White House lawn and showing. I saw that display of him doing the Trump dance. That's not a great look, guy. It looks like he is literally,
Yeah.
oh, I can't say that on the show, but it looks like he is
I think
doing things
yeah.
to people.
So so that dance that you were referring to, I referred to the same word, and then I said he probably learned how to do that from Melania. I mean, that was my
Oof.
estimation of what that was like. Okay, I got one more quote for you, Brooklyn Dad. You ready for this? Here's
Yeah,
what Emmer said earlier today.
Tom
Another
Emmer.
Trump, another Trump mushroom gobbler who
Oh,
said,
okay, I haven't seen
quote,
this.
Donald Trump has never been stronger. He's become more than Donald Trump. He's an icon of the ages. When he speaks, people listen.
Well, I mean, and so technically he's right, like we don't have much of a choice. We are a captive audience. The world is really a captive audience. You cannot kind of turn your attention away from him because he is nuts, and at any given moment he can do something really damaging and really stupid, like he's done with this war, like he's done with the tariff, like just about everything he's done. Look at it like this: if America would be in a much better position if he imitated a rock from his very first day and did absolutely nothing, just sat there. We would be in a better position than we are today.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And you look at the position that we're in today. Speaking of that, the Iran war, where every single day Donald Trump has been saying they want to make a deal. They're begging to make a deal. We're now over 2 months into this war. There's no deal. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. You can make the argument there's a more radical regime that is in charge now than there was before the war started. There was no proof or evidence that Iran was an imminent threat to the United States of America. They're claiming they have all this uranium dug up somewhere, but they can't find it. It sounds like weapons of mass destruction back to the Iraq war. They're there. We just can't find it. I mean, this might be one of the dumbest wars in the history of this country.
Yeah. So first of all, I had to look it up today because I was watching the news, and and they were like, "Yeah, Donald Trump says that we're close to a deal," and I was like, "All right, how many times has Donald Trump said we are close to a deal since the beginning of the war?" And it's
True.
12. I believe it's probably more, but the AI said it's 12. At least 12 times he has said that, and every time he has said that, his intention was to manipulate the market. That is all he's doing. He's not even talking to anybody over there. There's no proof. There's no evidence he has ever spoken to a leader of Iran, which he says, by the way, nobody knows who's in charge there. So wait, at 1 minute you're talking to the leaders, but in the other minute you don't even know who's the leader there. Come on, man. What kind of shell game is this you were trying to play with us? Because I'm not buying any of it.
Yeah, and isn't it interesting that they talk about in the last year and a half Doge and conserving and wasteful spending, but then all of a sudden they'll take away your Medicare, they'll take away your food stamps, but once we have a war in place, totally fine. We're just printing money, which is costing us somewhere around $2 billion a day. This isn't just Donald Trump. This is the history of the Republican Party. Take
Yeah.
away money from the neediest people in this country, but let's start an ill-advised war and make people rich while our brave men and women in uniform come home in caskets.
I don't know if you saw that comment that JD Vance made yesterday when he was talking to a crowd and he was asking questions. Would you support people who take money away from the poor and give it to fraudsters? I'm like, dude, you are literally describing your own regime. It was outrageous.
Every single time, Brooklyn Dad, I get somebody on the right that's talking to me about fraud, or they want to praise Nick Shirley, who's a complete imbecile. I always ask them a very simple question, which is, okay, we both agree fraud's bad. If you care so much about fraud, do you know how many people Donald Trump has pardoned that have committed fraud? Obviously, they have no idea.
70?
I say, yeah, the number's at least 70. billions of dollars in fraud. And here's the worst part, or the best
Mhm.
part, they don't have to pay back any of that in restitution. George Santos is one of many. And then I mentioned that to MAGA Republicans, and they don't know what to say because they don't care. Because if it's a Republican that's committing fraud, totally fine. But if it's a bunch of brown people that are committing fraud, allegedly, Somali fraud, they keep talking about that.
Yeah.
That's, send those people to jail for the rest of their lives. But, let's pardon those MAGA Republicans that have donated to Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's basically that's their playbook. They are maximum blaming um, on communities that are small, that are vulnerable. We're talking about the if it's not the Somalians, it's the trans people, it's anybody who is like outnumbered by by millions and millions and millions. They are trying to uh, scapegoat these people and absolve the Trump administration for all of the damage that it has done. Like you mentioned, Doge has done irreparable harm, not just here, but across the globe with its cuts. With the cuts, ironically, were intended to save money for the taxpayer, but it ended up costing more. Doge cost American taxpayers more money than if they had done nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And I don't know about you, Brooklyn Dad, but I haven't received my $5,000 Doge check. Have you?
Oh no, I totally forgot about that. But MAGA keeps falling for it, man. They didn't get their Doge check. They didn't get their phones. Remember those MAGA phones, those gold phones? They still haven't gotten them.
Yeah, that is also quite interesting. So here we are now, where you have Kristi Noem that's been fired. You have Pam Bondi that's been fired. I don't know if it's going to be Pete Hegseth. I don't know if it's going to be Kash Patel, but who do you think is the next person likely to be leaving the White House?
I think it should be. I mean, they're both Kash Patel and Hegseth are horrible, but I think Kash Patel should go first because in terms of just practical needs, I would rather have somebody who is effective at stopping crime and catching bad guys instead of he's investigating reporters for who leaked his drunken binges to them. Get that clown as far away from the DOJ as possible, from the FBI. Put somebody in there who is at least halfway competent to go after the bad guys. Seriously, I don't care about when it comes to the DOJ, when it comes to the Pentagon. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. I care that you're a serious, responsible person and you can do the job. And neither of those clowns can do it.
Unfortunately, there's not a lot of people in the White House that are capable. I would say Marco Rubio is capable, but he has sold his soul to Orange Man to help appeal to his political aspirations.
DJ, isn't he?
Yeah, I saw that. DJ Marco. Yeah, I saw that. Maybe he'll be in Vegas at a club near you really soon. I don't know. So before I let you go, Brooklyn Dad, happy to announce, of course, I've done your podcast before. I'm going to be doing it again today. I'm looking forward to it. Can you do me a favor and give people the information that are watching right now? How do they watch your podcast live? What time does it start today? And maybe give a little preview of what we're going to be talking about.
The Defiant Weekly can be seen on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And it can be seen in YouTube on my YouTube channel, Brooklyn Dad Defiant. And also, we also do stream to Twitter, but really the live chat is where it's at. And that can only be accessed through YouTube.
You sounded like a guy that did voiceovers for movie previews in the theaters back in the 90s. That was actually really good. I liked it.
Thank you.
A time and a place.
We are going to be talking about the $1 billion fiasco. It really upsets me because the thing that a lot of people are overlooking is that Donald Trump spent the majority of his life, his career, building, and so many of his scams involve building. Why is he so focused on building a ballroom, building an arch, building this, building that? He's got hundreds or dozens at least of contractors in his pocket that are going to shovel a kickback
Oh,
back
yeah.
to him. You
There-
know this.
There's no question that he's not doing this for security. He's not doing this because he cares about the American people. It's none of that.
Right.
It's always going to be a Ponzi scheme with this guy. And that's exactly what this is, just like all the other Ponzi schemes that he's got going right now in the private contractors with Eric and Don Jr. But I have a feeling we'll be talking about this a little bit later on your pod. Brooklyn Dad, always appreciate it when you take the time to come on. And I'm excited to come on your show a little bit later today. So we'll let you get back to it, my man. Thank you.
Thanks for having me again, buddy.
Appreciate it. Brooklyn Dad Defiant. I'm going to be doing his podcast a little bit later today as well. It's always fun doing his podcast. He does a really good job. So I'm really looking forward to that. All right. So from one popular podcaster and live streamer to another one, I had the luxury of meeting this guy at the UNF America Tour event that we did in Cal Berkeley. I had a lot of fun hanging out. It was a really good time. He is, of course, a political commentator. He's known as I'm Really Important. I call him Guy because that's his name, Guy. But I appreciate him taking the time to join us as well. Guy Cohen. Guy, thanks so much for coming on. How are you?
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for having me, bro. It was awesome hanging out with you, watching you take down these Trump people in person, taking no shit, no pushback. Brian, you're the real deal, bro. And I appreciate you as a fighter on our side.
Thank you. I appreciate you as well. We certainly both have different styles, and you are extremely informed and educated on the issues. And that's why I wanted to get your thoughts on this. I was just talking to Brooklyn Dad Defiant about this, about how now they're asking for $1 billion from the American taxpayer to build this ballroom. I'm wondering, what do you make of this and the fact that he's been pushing this since it seems like since he got into office? What do you make of this?
Well, I saw they snuck this into their budget reconciliation bill, so they're not going to have any Democratic votes on it. Doesn't even seem like they're comfortable with it, but I looked at the language and they're putting it down as like security upgrades for the new, the whole facility, like the whole grounds, but also the new addition. So there's no hiding it. I mean, I thought the 400 million private donations would cover everything.
Yeah, I thought so too. What happened to that? It's interesting, Guy, when he brought this up months and months ago, and he said, it's all going to be private. It's all going to be the private fund. I said, this guy's full of it. There's no chance that that's going to happen. This was going to be far more expensive than what they wanted. And it's interesting. What did you make of the fact that after this alleged assassination attempt, an hour later, you had all these MAGA grifters all over social media pushing the ballroom? What did you make of that?
Yeah, the robots got fired up. We must get the ballroom. I'm sorry. To me, this is the equivalent of a guy jumping the fence at the White House. He came nowhere near Donald Trump, the friendly federal assassin. His plot failed miserably, and I don't think it's an excuse to upgrade. First of all, the White House Correspondents Association dinner is 2,600 people, and this is a huge event to raise money for their organization, for sponsorships and stuff. The ballroom's going to accommodate 1,000 people. It couldn't even handle this event. Second of all, it's supposed to be a celebration of the free independent press. Not in a million years would you hold it on the White House grounds. So the ballroom has no connection to this. It's total nonsense. But the bots went live, and that's what they fought for.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. So here we are, speaking of the economy, where we're spending somewhere around $2 billion a day for this war, and they're asking for more money for this war as well. There's no end in sight, even though every single day Donald Trump's been saying, Iran, they're begging us for a deal. He said that like a month and a half ago. I find this interesting because I don't talk a lot about Republicans from 10 years ago or 20 years ago, and I'm not defending Donald Trump here, but this isn't anything new for Republicans, right? They take away money, government programs from the most needy individuals like food stamps and welfare and unemployment benefits. At least they try to cut those programs, which Donald Trump is. But yet all of a sudden we can get into an ill-advised war and we can just print money, right, Guy? $2 billion a day, no problem. This is the history, in my opinion, at least, of the Republican Party.
Well, Brian, this is a 47-year problem that nobody had the guts to deal with until now. I don't know about you, but I went to sleep every night shivering, thinking about the imminent threat of Iran. So thank God Trump had the balls to do it, and look, it's short-term pain. It is what it is, but it'll be over soon and gas will come plummeting down, just like grocery store prices came plummeting down as soon as Trump won.
Yeah.
What's the problem, bro?
You're killing me. It's funny, though. It's so funny, but it's true. What you're
true.
saying is what they're saying. That's why I'm laughing.
Yes.
It's so ridiculous. I mean, First of all, what do you make of this? Oh, well, we've been in a war for 47 years. First of all, Barack Obama got like 96 or 97% of the uranium. We didn't go to war. We didn't put boots on the ground. And now all of a sudden we had Donald Trump a year and a half ago saying, I'm going to be a peace president, no new wars, no new regimes. I mean, it's like, how could anybody believe a word that this man says? Obviously, I was saying that in his first administration. Why would anybody believe anything this guy says?
Yeah, I mean, and they're just touting our military successes as we're achieving our goals. Well, we're blowing stuff up, sure, but our strategic goals have failed miserably. Iran is stronger today than they were before the war. The same crazy regime's in charge. The sun is now in control. He's even nuttier because he closed the Strait of Hormuz.
Right.
They still have like 70% of their ballistic missiles and launchers, thousands of drones, and our latest endeavor, Project Freedom, to escort ships through the Strait of Hormuz, was shut down 48 hours in because we had cruise missiles launched at our naval vessels and barely responded. So what a disaster, man. I think we're going to end up with another superpower in the Middle East named Iran. They're going to have control of the strait. And by the way, we dropped all our sanctions. So they're just money's pouring in now as they can sell the 150 million barrels of oil that they already have out there. Forget exporting anything. So what a quagmire, man.
And then you have Pete Hegseth, who's literally, I'm not making this up, he's bragging, saying that we've blockaded the blockade. Like, I'm not making this up. That's literally what he's saying. A couple months ago, the Strait of Hormuz was open. It is closed, directly closed because of this war. And then Pete Hegseth is holding press conferences saying, well, we blockaded the blockade. I mean, it's like you light a building on fire and then somebody else comes in and says, well, we're going to solve it by lighting it on fire as well. I mean, I don't understand anything of what Pete Hegseth's been saying over the course of the last year and a half since he was really hired.
Well, who needs a nuclear weapon when you have an economic nuclear weapon and you can shut down the Strait of Hormuz? And I think people are starting to appreciate, as you indicated, the JCPOA. We had a 15-year deal for them not to enrich uranium. As you said, 97% of the enriched uranium was out of the country in Russia. And they also, in the first paragraph of the JCPOA, committed to never pursuing a nuclear weapon. So what is Trump going to get out of his latest deal? It seems like they're negotiating over 12 to 15 years, maybe. If he doesn't get a day over 15 years of no enriched uranium, this deal sucks and is worse than the JCPOA.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Speaking of deals and companies that are going belly up, I wanted to get your thoughts, Guy, on Spirit. So Spirit puts out, and there was 1,000 people right here in Las Vegas that lost their jobs. I can't imagine people all over the country. This is terrible. And Spirit put out a statement. And in that statement, they directly said this was a result of oil prices. I'm sure there are other factors as well, but oil prices. And the Trump administration is blaming Joe Biden. And you have Spirit that's literally saying, basically, in so many words, the spike on oil prices put us over the edge. I mean, it's like this is their statement. Are they lying?
Well, I think they're right. It was the spike in jet fuel prices that took them down, which is attributed to Donald Trump and his war, right? That's what it's associated with. I went back and looked at what happened in 2022, and it's true that Joe Biden's DOJ sued to stop the merger of JetBlue for picking up Spirit Airlines because they said JetBlue would control 10% of the market and be the 5th largest airline in America. And they said it would hurt American consumers. And so the district court sided with the Biden administration. Everybody was happy. This is a proven business model. Frontier Airlines is Spirit Airlines' closest competitor. They're twice as big as them. They're going to hoover up all of their business. They already are opening routes where Spirit Airlines operated when they were on the ropes. So I feel you, and I do. It hurts that like 16,000 people are out of a job, but I'm hoping that Frontier Airlines and the other carriers can pick that up. But yeah, Trump's war is the cause for Spirit going down, not Joe Biden, nobody else.
Yeah, no, I also agree with you on that one. So here we are now. I don't know if you had the opportunity. I didn't ask, I think my last guest this question, the debate last night. I wasn't really impressed with the debate out there in California. I was a little depressed by it. Like, I didn't see any candidates where I said to myself, wow, I really want that person to be the governor of California. Now, obviously, I would prefer a Democrat than that moron who did a weekend show on Fox News. But at the same time, I'm watching this debate happen in real time, and I'm like, they're not making a great case to the American people. And I'm like, if these are the types of Democrats that are going to be running for president, which I don't think any of those candidates are, but if they were, we would be in trouble. Like, I don't know. That's just the vibe that I got. I just didn't see anybody out there that stood out to me that said, wow, that person could make a great governor. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, these candidates, even when Eric Swalwell was in there before he was exposed as the
Yeah.
creep and monster he was,
Mhm.
it was kind of lackluster. And I was shocked that there's nobody more exciting that wants to be governor. I mean, Kamala should have done it, if you ask me. I mean,
I
running
think she should.
California is
Yep.
like the fourth largest country, economy in the world. Why wouldn't you want to be in charge of that? But
Agreed.
it is what it is. But I'm with you. I didn't watch the debate last night because it was on CNN and I was streaming, and CNN will DMCA you. But what I read is there's a lot of bickering, and it's nobody really stood out. But I think we'd be okay if Tom Steyer or Becerra
Steyer's
rises
okay.
to the top.
Yeah, Steyer's okay.
think-
I'm not. You're right. That's a good point. I think Steyer's okay. I didn't see his performance yesterday as bad. He's obviously an extremely intelligent guy. Yes, of all those people, I would choose Steyer 100%. He's admitted mistakes that he's made. He's changed his positions on a number of different things. I think he's more open and honest. He has a little bit of baggage on how he made all the money he made, but at the same time, I think he has what it takes. So I'll give Steyer a pass there. Not too impressed with Porter and some of the others. Sheriff, what's his name? Biancan? My Bianco. I mean, that guy is just an utter fool, just an absolute idiot. And listen, why am I forgetting the name of the guy, the former Weekend Fox News? Why am I forgetting his name? I'm drawing a blank here.
Well, the other big Republican is Steve Hilton.
Right. Hilton.
He's the one Trump endorsed. And I know there's concern that 2 Republicans will advance, but Trump endorsed Steve Hilton. So everybody's going to vote for him. I don't think Bianco's going to go anywhere.
No, Bianco's not
sheriff
going to
of
go
Riverside.
anywhere. You're right. Hilton's going to be there. The guy couldn't even get keep a weekend show on Fox News. And this is what these Republicans do. And listen, I'm not going to lie. California's got a lot of issues. But they complain about homeless. If you listen to what they talk about, they complain about the homeless issues and housing, but they don't have any solutions. They don't have any real solutions. What are we going to do with all these homeless people? Where are they going to go? Where are you going to get the money? And they claim they have solutions, but they don't. And that's what I hear, not just from the Republicans, but from Democrats as well.
Yeah, homelessness has been going down in California. I believe by double digits the last 2 years. And so, yes, a lot of money's been burned, but a lot of stuff is working. And I think I even saw an interview with the mayor of San Francisco, who Trump backed off last year because he's done a great job with homelessness. I think I saw a stat that there were like 1,100 homeless encampments in San Francisco in 2020, down to like less than 200 now. So the problem has been addressed, but it's not complete. There's still a lot of work to do. But, California is very accommodating and has a lot of just allows a lot of people to be able to live like that, and it tries to be as nice and helpful as possible. So we take in like 1/5 of the nation's homelessness. But yeah, these guys don't have any solution. Their solution is put them in prison. If you sadly, if you have the unfortunate circumstances that end up homeless, they want you to go to prison.
Mental illness, addiction, depression, you name it, across the board is the main reasons why these people are on the streets. You take away their health care, you take away options that they could have to get help. And we know that Republicans, it is their MO in doing so. Guy, before I let you go, and I really do appreciate you taking the time to come on, you're a very popular live streamer. I've watched your live stream. You do a wonderful job. I love how you lay out the foundation. Can you give out that information for some of my listeners? Because I am positive they would enjoy, if they don't already, watching what you do. So please give out that information, how people could watch your live streams and follow you on social media.
Heck yeah, this has been a blast. Thank you, Brian, for sharing your space with me. And though Brian is the king of debating, I debate Monday through Friday for about 4 hours on TikTok. So if you search I'm Really Important on TikTok, you can come hang out with us and watch me take down MAGA one by one. It's a blast. Yeah. And then the evening I stream on YouTube, Twitch, under the handle I'm Really Important, all one word as well, where I go over stories in the news. We watch a lot of C-SPAN. I try to make it as entertaining as possible and point out the drama. This guy hates this guy, and these two have been bickering. So check this out. This is going to be great. So that's what I do.
Yeah, I'm having Adam Mockler join us on the show tomorrow. That's going to be a lot of fun, and got to ask him about the Scott Jennings stuff. I think Jennings should be fired. Before I let you go, do you agree with me? I think Scott Jennings at a minimum should be suspended. He was on CNN yesterday. No apology, no suspension, certainly not fired. I think the people at CNN are a bunch of cowards. I have no problem. I've been on CNN before, but I have no problem in saying that. The executives are a bunch of cowards.
Adam Mockler, total sweetheart. I've hung out with him before. Great guy. How could you get mad at him? Scott Jennings, get the mental health care you need, bro. Deal with it. Take some time off. Google talk therapy near me and get the help you desperately need, because that had nothing to do with Adam or anything else.
True.
Jesus Christ.
Could not agree with you more, Guy. Hey, man, great to have you on the show for the first time. We'd love to have you back. And we will catch up with you soon, my friend. It's great to see you. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
You too, bro. See you soon.
See you soon as well. All right, there you go. Guy Cohen, everybody. Great follow on social media. Great live streamer. I'm Really Important. He goes by. Great political commentator. So please check him out. All right. So on this show, before I get to the audio, let me just get to the YouTube super chat. Thank you, Eileen, for your generous donation. It says, if you're confused as to how Donnie can still have an approval rating in the 30s, remember MAGA would eat dog blank if it meant a liberal had to smell their breath. That's actually a funny comment, and I actually agree with you. We'll be reading more YouTube super chats as the show goes on. Thank you, Eileen, for that comment. That's actually very funny and also very true. So as you guys know, I call out political violence on both sides of the aisle. I'm very consistent on that. I always have been very consistent on that. We could be talking about Black Lives Matter. We could be talking about January 6th. We could be talking about an assassination attempt. Even the Savannah Hernandez situation, while I did have the family on, I've said time and time again, even while interviewing them, I do not condone violence on either side. Nobody should put their hands on anybody. And somehow when I interviewed the family, that turned into, Brian, you support woman abusers, which is obviously an extremely ignorant thing to say. I'm very consistent. So if you guys didn't have the opportunity to watch it, I highly suggest you do, because Michael Knowles, a guy that I've debated before, a guy that I've actually smoked cigars with, he's actually a nice guy in person. He's a little weird. Michael Knowles had the opportunity to debate Mehdi Hassan, who we're trying to get on the show. Michael Knowles is a weird guy. I'm going to be honest with you. He's very strange. I was invited to his cigar party in Phoenix at AmFest. This was like maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I don't know, something like that. So I walk into Michael Knowles' cigar party. I grab a cigar because I do enjoy cigars from time to time. And Michael says, hey, Brian, what's up? And I see Michael there, and I shake his hand, and he's like, and I'm not exaggerating. This is how he talks. Like, I'm looking at him. Brian, we've had some wonderful and interesting debates on Piers Morgan. Brian, are you enjoying my cigar? It was just like the guy, like it was like weird. It was like a voiceover guy. He sounded like Morgan Freeman voiceover stuff, only Morgan Freeman's really cool. Brian, it's so good to see you. Would you like to do my show one of these days? I would love to have you on my show. It's so good to see you. It was a little weird. It's off-putting. He's a weird dude. And a couple of years ago, I said some things about Mehdi Hassan that I regret. Sometimes I say things that are wrong. Sometimes I correct myself, and I've corrected myself on the air. A couple of years ago, all I heard was Mehdi Hassan attacking Israel, attacking the Israeli government. And I said, what's up with this guy? He must be anti-Semitic. I can tell you right now, I agree with just about everything Mehdi Hassan says about Israel and the Israeli government. I was wrong. I think Mehdi Hassan is brilliant. I do not believe he's anti-Semitic. And he calls out the Israeli government, and I think he's right. I know he's right. And I was wrong. And I sent him an email, and I told him that, and he was very nice to me. And you know, the first thing a man should do when they're wrong is admit it. I was wrong about Mehdi Hassan. I'm a huge fan of his. I think he's one of the best debaters around. He's brilliant. And I thought he just absolutely destroyed Michael Knowles. But instead of playing large portions of the debate, I want to focus on one portion, because this is something that I debate people on all the time, which is political violence. If you're going to call out one side, you got to call out the other. This is something that I've done on this very show. I've done it on Piers Morgan. I've done it on CNN, which is call out the people who aren't willing to call out violence on their side. Mehdi Hassan has to ask the same question 6 times to Michael Knowles, who refuses to answer the direct question. This is a brilliant moment. Watch.
There is no precedent for January 6th. We were used to peaceful transfers of power. Richard Nixon agreed, even though he's probably robbed by JFK. Al Gore agreed, even though he's probably robbed by George W. Bush. Donald Trump actually lost, for sure, and he still didn't accept it and incited a riot. Michael says, oh, Democrats thought it was the worst day in history. Do you know who said, bar none, it was the most horrifying day in American politics in my lifetime?
Mike Pence.
No.
No, I don't know. You
Guess
keep
again.
quoting him, so I assume.
Guess again. It was Ben Shapiro on January the 7th. He said it was the most horrifying day that I witnessed in American politics. Noted Democrat
But
Ben
I always
Shapiro said
disagree with that guy.
on January the 7th. So let's just deal with some facts here. The people who attacked the Capitol were not going on private tours. They were not just a horn hat guy. It was people like Daniel Rodriguez, who assaulted Michael Fanone, put him in a stroke, got 12 years in prison. The judge said he was an army of hate and violence. Donald Trump pardoned him. It was people like Andrew Paul Johnson, who was just sentenced to life in prison for sexually abusing 2 children in Florida. Donald Trump pardoned him for January the 6th. He pardoned a neo-Nazi called Bradley Tyler Dykes, who did a Sikh Heil salute as he attacked police officers. These are the people Trump pardoned. Michael has never condemned Trump for that. Harry Sisson asked Michael on his show earlier this year, would you condemn Donald Trump for doing that? And he wouldn't answer the question. He said, I'll never condemn Donald Trump. Do you condemn Donald Trump for pardoning neo-Nazis, domestic abusers, pedophiles?
Well, hold on. Was he one
do you condemn Trump for pardoning?
I'm just asking a clarifying question about that guy. Was he one of the neo-Nazis who was getting $3 million from the SPLC, or was he a different neo-Nazi?
Nice diversion. I'm not Harry Sisson. I'll use up my time. Do you condemn Donald Trump for pardoning neo-Nazis, violent criminals, people who assaulted 140 police officers on January the 6th?
One last real clarification.
He won't answer.
One last real clarification.
I'll ask again.
No,
it's a simple question. Do you support pardoning the 600 people who were charged with assaulting police officers?
Pardon them for
like Daniel
pedophilia?
Rodriguez? He pardoned them for assaulting police.
Oh,
do you support that?
All right.
Okay.
Do you support that?
All right.
3 times he hasn't
You're gonna
answered.
stick to the 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute.
Do you condemn Donald Trump for pardoning 600 people who assaulted police officers? 4th time. Can you do it?
I'm happy to. I condemn pedophilia,
Do you condemn Donald
neo-Nazism.
Trump for
I
pardoning
condemn, and
January
I condemn.
6th rioters? He won't do it. He will not do it.
Do you know how frustrating that is? I do it time and time again with people because Michael Knowles is Donald Trump. He's not able or willing to call out the obvious. If you assault a police officer, it shouldn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. You should be able to call it out. Michael Knowles wasn't willing to do so. So I get into those same discussions, debates, arguments with people all the time because I want consistency. If you're going to on one side, you have to be able to call it out on the other side. And I had the opportunity to make an appearance on Piers Morgan. And I made that appearance, was it last week? Yeah, if memory serves me right, it was last week. I made the appearance on Piers Morgan. And on that panel, I had the opportunity to debate a guy by the name of Gavin McInnes. He is the vice president of the Proud Boys. And I got into a very similar conversation with Gavin that is very similar to what Mehdi Hassan had with Michael Knowles. They can't call out violence on the right. Watch this.
Have been mass shooters. So you guys are lying, number one. Number two, was that Antifa on January 6th, Mr. Proud Boy member? Was that Antifa that was responsible for January 6th when 140 officers were beaten? Was that Antifa?
They were beaten
those
for
people that were
shooting at
responsible?
protesters. They were beaten for
Yeah.
they were beaten for
700
flashlights. People were going, stop.
Right.
2 patriots died that day.
Guess what?
Rosin Boyle and
Guess
Ashley
what?
Babbitt.
Okay, hold on
by
a second.
Your cops,
Stand
by
back.
your Capitol Police, your affirmative action hires killed patriots that day.
Hold on a second. Stand back and stand by for one moment. Let me just finish this for a moment, sir. Okay. It has been proven in a court. Yeah. It was proven in a court of law. There were over 700 people that were convicted. They had the opportunity to defend themselves. Those were right-wing
the same court of law that gave Enrique Tarrio 22 years for not being there?
Enrique Tarrio is an imbecile. If that's the hill that you're going to die on, then you have a problem, sir.
22 years.
Yeah. Oh, he was convicted of seditious conspiracy and dump. Let me ask you a question. If you beat a cop on January 6th, are you a hostage and a patriot? Yes
They
or
didn't
no?
beat cops. Cops were shooting flashbang grenades into the crowd. They were going, stop
This
starting
guy-
a riot.
Wait,
Capitol
hold on,
Police
hold on,
who were going
hold on.
under Nancy
You're
Pelosi's
saying cops-
instructions.
Wait, I want you to say this on Piers Morgan's show right now on the record. Are you saying cops were not beaten on January 6th? Yes or no?
I'm saying cops started a riot, and in a melee,
That's not what I
people
asked.
get hurt.
I don't care what your opinion. Were cops beaten on
shut up
January
with your
6th? Yes or no?
carefully crafted
Pierce,
questions
you won't
to make
answer the
me
question.
crap on cops.
You won't answer the question.
You don't know what happened.
Won't
You don't
answer
get
it.
outside. I'm out there. I'm there. I'm on the streets. I see this violence.
I'm not outside.
Let me bring it. All right.
Is that a carefully crafted question? Cops started January 6th. That's what this imbecile, that's what this fool was trying to say. Cops were responsible for January 6th. That is very similar to the conversation that Mehdi Hassan had with Michael Knowles, the conversation that I had on Piers Morgan last week. Very similar. Let me be very clear on this. You cannot have a good faith conversation with these people. If they want to blame the left for all the violence, which is obviously a lie and it's not true, you could go to the FBI statistics over the course of the last 20 years. There has been more political violence on the right than the left. You could look that up if you don't believe me. Yes, there was a spike in 2025, but over the course of the last couple decades, there has been proven to be more violence on the right. I don't even like getting into those conversations. There's more on the right, there's more on the left. I don't like doing that. All I want is consistency. If you beat a cop during a Black Lives Matter protest, it's wrong. You should be held to the highest extent of the law. If you beat a cop on January 6th, it's wrong. You should be held to the highest extent of the law. It shouldn't matter what your political ideology is. Am I defending people who beat cops and Black Lives Matter? Of course not. I would never defend that sort of behavior. I would never say it was the cop's fault. But that's what they do. That's exactly what Michael Knowles did with Mehdi Hassan, and that's exactly what Gavin McInnes did on Piers Morgan when I was debating him. These people are fools, and if a Democrat or somebody on the left does it, they'll continue to talk about it. But if somebody on the right does it, they'll either say, well, they're not with us, or somehow police were the ones responsible, because they are imbeciles. So as I mentioned to you guys, over the course of the last 24 hours, we have learned that Republicans are trying to put forth a bill to ask for $1 billion from the American taxpayer to build this ballroom. For months now, Donald Trump has been saying it would be from donors. First, he said it would cost around $200 million. Then he said it would cost around $400 million. And we were promised the taxpayer wouldn't have to pay the burden. So just keep in mind, while he gives the biggest tax breaks to the top 1%, while he started an ill-advised war costing us somewhere around $2 billion a day, and he's taking away your food stamps, he's taking away your Medicaid, he's taking away your government assistance to the most needy people in America. CNN put together a nice little montage of Trump lying about this ballroom over the course of the last year or four, saying that it would be paid for by private donors. Watch this.
And I'm paying for it. I'm paying for it. The country is not. We're donating a $400 million ballroom. Myself and donors are giving them free of charge for nothing. We did this no charge to the taxpayer whatsoever. Rich people and people are putting up the money, zero taxpayer dollars. I think it'll cost $250 million, and it will be, I think, the finest. It's about $300 million. Approximately $400 million. I think I'll do it for less, but it's $400. I should do it for less. I will do it for less. But just in case I say 400. And
those were the lies put forth by Donald Trump. But he wasn't the only one. Caroline Leavitt, won't shock you, is also a liar. As we call her, Caroline the Liar Leavitt continues to lie every day for Donald Trump and the administration. But Caroline Leavitt, back in October of 2025, said that this would cost $300 million and it would be no cost to the taxpayer. Have a listen to this.
In July, the White House said that it would cost $200 million. Yesterday, the president said $300 million. Is $300 million now the operative figure? And why did it go up by so much?
$300 million is the figure. And again, it's not going to cost the taxpayers a dime. So we look forward to this project continuing, and we will continue to keep everyone apprised on it. Perhaps the president will even bring you all out to see it one day at the appropriate time.
Now, will she correct the record? Will she admit that she was lying? Will she admit that Donald Trump was lying? Of course not. They'll come up with some sort of reasoning as to why the taxpayers need to put up the $1 billion. Now, there basically is two reasons why Republicans in Congress want the American taxpayer to pay for this ballroom. The first reason is it's over budget in an insane fashion. It's crazy over budget. That's number one. This is far more than the $400 million Trump now admits to, if you remember, after he originally said it would cost somewhere around $200 million. So crazy over budget. And number two, he completely exaggerated once again, and he exaggerated all the donations that will not be coming in to cover the cost of the ballroom. So those are the two main reasons why Republicans are doing this. But then you have Representative Dan Mauser on this $1 billion taxpayer dollar Republicans, that what they want to build this Trump ballroom. Here's what Dan Mauser had to say about this building of this so-called ballroom.
That bill that stands out is $1 billion in security adjustments at the White House for Secret Service. This would provide the security surrounding the president's ballroom project. Some Democrats think this will be a winning issue for them, forcing Republicans to vote on the president's ballroom, while the American people right now are kind of struggling to pay for gas and groceries. But what do you think of all of this?
Well, first off, it's excellent that we are getting the reconciliation done. Of course, it's being done only through Republicans. Democrats really don't understand what's taking place here, as they've greatly hurt our homeland security. You hear Secretary Mark Wayne talk about it. We have shortfalls. We lost 1,100 people within CISA. Our cybersecurity prevention and work is greatly inhibited. It's just terrible. And frankly, their position on Iran, I mean, when they speak, they sound like heck. They're more for Iran than they are for America, not just for de-escalation. Look, it's a security project. Yes, it's on the East Wing, but it's a security initiative, or that funding. It really has nothing to do with the construction of the so-called ballroom, which is being privately funded.
Mm-hmm.
It's a security project, he says. It's a $1 billion taxpayer security project. Dan Mauser and these morons on the right, it's just insufferable, and it's just so despicable that they have now taken the opportunity after this alleged assassination attempt from this deranged individual to talk about building a ballroom. Boy, I hope it doesn't pass. But if it does, Democrats can use this and play it over and over and over again right before the midterms, because it's such an embarrassment, and they're all embarrassing individuals, and it's sick. But it gets worse, because this morning Hassett appeared on Fox Business. And I want you to listen to his wording. While Americans can't even afford to fill their gas tank, Trump's chief economic advisor is literally bragging about the fact that Americans in this country are surviving off of credit cards. Watch this.
In fact, I had the head of one of the big 5 banks in my office yesterday going through the credit card data. And just as Secretary Bessent said, credit card spending is through the roof. They're spending more on gasoline, but they're spending more on everything else too. And so in terms of the jobs picture for the rest of the year, it's really hard to see having the unemployment rate go up, for example. It's probably going to drop a little bit, but it's already very close to full employment. But I think, in fact, I had the
there you
head
go. There you go. It's totally okay, because people surviving on their credit cards. Ladies and gentlemen, just play that clip over and over again if you're a Democrat running for office. Trump's chief economic advisor bragging about the fact that Americans are having to get more in debt using their credit cards to maybe fill their gas tank. I don't even know what to say. It's so embarrassing. Somehow it's patriotic to spend $6 a gallon for gas. Somehow it's a good thing when Americans are using their credit cards to pay the bills. I never thought we would get to this point. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think it'd be this bad. But if it's not $1 billion to build a ballroom on taxpayer money, or $2 billion a day in an ill-advised and illegal war, now you have members of Trump's administration bragging and gloating about how Americans are spending money using their credit cards to fill their gas tanks, because otherwise they can't drive to work if they're fortunate and lucky enough to have a job, or 2 jobs, or 3 jobs, just to get by. Well, we have some awards to give out on PTL today. And I forget to honor the Trump mushroom gobbler of the day, but we have 2 of them. Representative Emmer and Representative Wesley Hunt. So if you recall, Donald Trump was in the White House lawn the other day, and he was teaching some younger children how to do the, for lack of a better term, masturbation dance. That's what I call it, because that's what it looks like. Let's just be honest. And Wesley Hunt, one of the Trump mushroom gobblers of the day, wins the award. I want you to listen to what he has to say about Donald Trump.
3 or 4 attempts on his life. I've never seen this much violence toward a president in the history of my life. And yet he still gets up in the morning, puts his pants on, and goes to work for America every single day. And if we do not fight fire with fire, as you so eloquently put it earlier, we're going to be in really big trouble post midterm, and not just that, for the future of this country. And then going into the presidential year, which is going to be extraordinarily consequential for us to win, so we can continue to have the wins that we have seen in President Trump's presidency. So at the end of the day, let's look at the leader that we have. We know who's in charge. There is no auto pen. He proudly signs every single bill publicly. He is the most visible president we have ever seen in the history of this country. He's the most accessible president we have ever seen in the history of this country. And despite the fact that his life is in danger, his family's life is in danger, he still gets up, goes to the White House lawn, and then teaches kids how to do the Trump dance for physical fitness. This guy is a machine. We have got to understand leadership. I'm somebody that understands leadership. This is our guy. We must follow suit, or we're going to lose our country.
I love that. I love that footage from yesterday.
I bet Benny Johnson really loved that footage from yesterday. Yes, I do. For reasons that I think you might understand what I'm talking about. I believe that Benny Johnson practices that Trump dance every single night before he goes to sleep, and his wife isn't in the room with him, if you know what I'm saying. Wesley Hunt is a Trump mushroom gobbling idiot. By the way, Donald Trump doesn't even remember his executive orders. When he signs off on these pardons, apparently he doesn't even remember who he pardoned. So I don't even know what Wesley Hunt is talking about, but I'm not going to give him the full Trump mushroom gobbler award today, because quite frankly, he only deserves half of the award. The other half goes to Representative Emmett, who also made an appearance on national television today. And I want you to listen to Emmett talk about Donald Trump the way a Boston Celtics fan will talk about Larry Bird or Bill Russell. Watch this.
All of these polls that try to suggest that Donald Trump's influence is waning are completely false. Donald Trump has never been stronger, especially with the Republican base. And you saw it last night in Indiana. He's become more than Donald Trump. He is an icon of the ages. And when he speaks, people listen. And I know the left doesn't like to hear that, Stuart, but it's fact. And you saw it last night on display in Indiana.
Yes, the MAGA held together and supported the president on this. I think his political fortunes may be on the upswing, just a little. We shall see.
What? What is he talking about? Donald Trump's numbers are in the low 30s. That's not just a poll among Democrats. He's polling 20% among independents. What are they talking about? Over 50% of the country disagree with his handling of the economy and the war in Iran. What the hell are these imbeciles talking about? You wait. You wait until the midterms. You wait. We'll see how that goes. We'll see. What an absolute embarrassment. What a joke. So, congratulations to Representative Wesley Hunt and Representative Emmer for the co-winners of the Trump Mushroom Gobbling Award of the day. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Continue to do that Donald Trump dance. Just make sure Donald Trump is standing right in front of you with his pants down when you do it. With that said, I'm going to open up the phone lines. So just a quick note before I take some calls. And by the way, the number to call is 702-221-7283. We'll put the number there on the bottom of the screen. That number, again, if you want to be a part of the conversation, is 702-221-SAVE. We're talking about, obviously, a number of different issues today. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see that debate between Mehdi Hasan and Michael Knowles. I certainly want to ask you guys about that. I think Mehdi Hasan is just brilliant. So want to get your thoughts on that one and the ballroom stuff. Do you think American taxpayers should have to fork up $1 billion? Not only that, but the Trump administration has been lying to all of us about a number of different issues, this being one of them. First, it was $200 million in private donations. Then it was $400 million in private donations. Caroline Leavitt, not that long ago, said it was $300 million, not a dime paid by the taxpayer. Now, apparently, all of it is going to be paid by the American taxpayer. I want to get your thoughts on that as well. And members of Donald Trump's administration are bragging about the fact, Hesant is bragging about the fact that Americans have to use their credit cards and get deeper in debt to fill their gas tanks because gas is like $5-6 a gallon. I think it's $4.50 a gallon across the country. It's like $6 a gallon in California. It's insane. I paid $5.45 a gallon just earlier today, right here in Las Vegas. Are they going to continue to blame Joe Biden for that? Are they going to continue to blame him for the economy? Are they going to continue to complain about Joe Biden? Oh, well, this war would have definitely started under, Kamala Harris. It's an absolute joke. It's a joke is what it is. And at this point, if you think Donald Trump is still doing a good job, at this point, if you still think he cares about the American people, at this point, you're calling him some sort of hero for teaching a couple kids how to do the Donald Trump masturbation dance, then you are a Donald Trump mushroom gobbler. You need to take off your Donald Trump knee pads and go to sleep and seek help for your MAGA herpes, which may not go away, by the way. It may not go away, ladies and gentlemen. It may not. Programming note for you, if you need a little more Brian Shapiro. So later today, I'm going to be doing Brooklyn Dad Defiance podcast. He's great. Looking forward to that. I think that starts at 3:30. Tomorrow, I got 2 other podcasts that I'm doing. Both are going to be very interesting. We're going to be going back on the Roland Martin show tomorrow as a guest. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then right after the Roland Martin show, OAN has a new podcast out. I don't know why I torture myself with this stuff, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm going to torture myself. So I'm doing the official OAN podcast tomorrow as well. So we'll see how that goes as well. So a lot of other shows that you're going to be seeing yours truly in, and I'm certainly looking forward to that. All right, with that being said, we're still in the YouTube Super Chat, so your questions and comments can be heard in the YouTube Super Chat. I've got the feed right in front of me, so I'm definitely going to do a better job at reading those YouTube Super Chats where your questions and comments will be read live on the air. I give out that number one more time, 702-221-7283. The minimum donation, by the way, for a YouTube Super Chat is $5, and we will absolutely read them live on the air, 702-221-7283. And again, that number, if you want to be a part of the program, is 702-221-SAVE is the number to call. All right, let's start off with Alex, who's calling out of Illinois. He wants to talk about Warren Smith, who's going to be joining me on the show on Friday. Hello, Alex.
Hi, Brian. I was actually not particularly talking about Warren Smith, more so the talk you had with him. I guess it was a few months ago at this point now.
Okay. What's on your mind?
So yeah, there was just a few things y'all were touching on regarding guns, in particular high capacity magazines, AR-15s, and the like.
Okay, yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't remember a conversation from a couple months ago, but
yeah. Oh no, I would never try to fault you on that. I was
Nope.
That was basically the reference point.
Okay.
Well, my only curiosity would be if you were to take all these weapons away from the average, let's say, legally armed citizen, what then would happen?
What do you mean? What do you mean all the weapons? When have I said I wanted to take guns away from everybody?
No.
Alex?
Oh no, no. In particular, I believe you made a comment regarding
about assault weapons. Assault weapons, yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, we could say, for example, like semi-automatic rifles or something of the like.
Yep. Well, so what is your question about? Say that question for me again. Repeat that, Alex.
Sure. Governmentally, what would happen if all these weapons were removed, given that they are, technically speaking, the one-for-one of what the military uses to an extent?
Yeah. So let me start by saying this, and then we'll get to your question. If you sell or buy an illegal gun, I think there should be a mandatory prison sentence, right? I think that needs to be in effect immediately. And maybe, Democrats and Republicans, I hope, could agree on something like that. I doubt it. They don't agree on anything. So start there. So if you ban assault weapons altogether, which, by the way, it's never going to happen because Republicans are never going to approve of it. But if, in fact, a miracle happened, and it did happen, then you would have to, put some laws in effect from state by state, and you would have to put it in effect. And it would kind of almost be like, when you have a real ID at the airport, they still kind of let it slide. It would take some time for people to understand the new laws, but you would have to give up your assault weapons. And over a certain period of time, if you were still found with one, then there would have to be some serious penalties involved. Does that make sense?
Yes and no. I mean, for one thing, classifying anything as an assault weapon that has like semi-automatic capacity, semi-automatic capabilities, and maybe a round count higher than like 15 rounds or.
All right. Well, I understand, Alex, what you're saying, but without getting into the weeds on what your opinions are on what assault weapons are, let me ask you a question. Do you agree with me? There's way too much gun violence in this country. Can we agree on that?
extraordinarily.
Okay, good. So we
one-
start in the right place. We agree that there's way too much. Okay, so what do you think we should do about that, Alex?
Well, I would hope. I mean, so in particular, I know about a bunch about Chicago. It's where I'm originally from.
I hear you, but I'm not talking
And-
about Chicago. Let's talk about the country.
I'm just using it as an example because that's what I, in particular, know about.
You don't know about
in Chicago, for example.
Yeah, but why are we talking with respect, Alex? I'm sorry that I'm interrupting you. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I understand there's a lot of gang violence in Chicago, and I understand there's a lot of gun violence there. But there's also kids that are getting gunned down in schools across the country as well. So if it's okay, if it's okay with you, you can talk about Chicago, but I'm talking about gun violence across the country. I don't want to talk about black on black crime or white on white crime. I understand. I'm not trying to say you're doing that. But if you can help me out here, Alex, with the country, let's try to focus, if that's okay with you. Let's try to focus on the country, and let's try to come to a consensus. Maybe we'll agree on what do we do to stop the gun violence across the country? What are things we can do to help, if that's okay?
Well, this is a very difficult question. I mean, for one thing, we have the federal background check. It's across all 50 states. You have constitutional carry in certain other states, but that's aside the point. The real name of the game is trying to find the problems while they're young, in my opinion. A lot of these kids, especially after COVID, they got kind of warped, and they're perpetually online. They don't have the same sense of morality that, for example, people in the millennial generation or Gen X maybe grew up with.
Okay, but I understand.
I know firearm owners who.
I understand, but before COVID, Alex, we were still top 3 of most gun violence in the world. So with respect, I'm not saying COVID helped. I agree with you, but so give me some solutions. What do we need to do? I'll give you 5 or 6 of mine, but I want to hear yours first.
I mean, the one big solution, since gun violence is primarily in larger cities. I mean, it's definitely centralized in larger cities. The numbers from the FBI show that.
Well, per capita, of course, that would make sense, wouldn't it? If you have more people in the city, then you're probably going to have more gun violence in that city. So what would be your solutions to the problem?
Well, I was getting there before you interrupted me. What I was going to say is it would be probably helpful if a lot of the people who run these larger cities actually enforced their policies and probably did a really, really good job, because this is one very effective way that I know for a fact criminals get weapons into larger cities, is they can go across state lines to buy from another city or state. Well, I guess state in particular. They'd buy from another state, bring them back in into that particular city, and then sell them en masse. So they can do this all day, every day, no questions asked.
All right. Well, again, I wouldn't categorize Uvalde as a large city. I wouldn't categorize Columbine as a large city. So I respectfully disagree with you on that. You're saying that in the larger cities, they're not
talking about 2 particular shootings that happen in schools.
We're talking about. I wouldn't.
Important to note.
I wouldn't say it's irrelevant
gun
at
violence
all.
in general, it doesn't have to deal. The general knowledge of gun violence is not centralized on just school shootings.
I didn't say
the massive amount of gun violence happens in large cities.
Well, that's because per capita, there's more people living in the city. Of course, that would make sense, but you're not giving me solutions. The only thing I've heard you say was, we need to make sure that the people in the cities are enforcing the law. I can give you a number of different things.
That's a good place to start.
Okay.
Would you not agree?
Is that no, I actually think there are more things we could do with our laws that could make it safer. So I kind of disagree with you, but can you give me something else other than the politicians in the larger cities need to do a better job of enforcing the law? Can you give me something else? Because that wouldn't have helped.
I guess
the largest mass shootings in the country, what you're saying would not have helped. It certainly would have helped in Las Vegas when we had a nut job kill 61 people. No enforced laws would have stopped that person from the biggest mass shooting in the history of the country. And with respect, I wouldn't say any of these mass shootings are irrelevant to the problem. You have an 18-year-old that walks into a gun store, that buys thousands of rounds of ammunition, doesn't know how to even really use a weapon. He's clearly mentally ill. When we go to the Sandy Hook shooting, you had a mother who didn't know how to I guess you could say store the guns, allowed her son to, access to the weapons, who couldn't even have a conversation with somebody. He was so mentally ill. So I disagree with you. There are no laws that Democrats or Republicans could have enforced that could have stopped some of these biggest mass shootings in American history. So let's move on from that, because I respectfully disagree with you.
I was trying to give you a singular starting point. Of course, mass shootings are terrible. No
I agree.
one
Okay,
disagrees with
we agree. I didn't
would
say.
you agree with me
Well,
that
hold
it's
on.
definitely a smaller sort of an issue? A freak occurrence of a mass shooting of a school or a church or a grocery store or whatever?
No. We have more mass shootings in this country than almost any other country in the world. So do me a favor,
Okay.
Alex. Give me another. Give me
I'll try
another
asking
solution.
again.
Well, give me another solution.
Sure, I'll try asking again. Would you not agree that that is a more freakish occurrence than the standardized shootings that happen almost on a daily basis in large cities like Chicago?
Okay, so here's the way I'll answer that, and you might not like it, but these types of conversations are extremely frustrating to me. I don't care whether it's a gang-related shooting or it's a bunch of kids, innocent children that are shot. Gun violence is gun violence. I don't know why you keep bringing up Chicago. I've asked you now 5 times. Hold on. I've asked you 5 times with respect. What are some of your solutions? The only solution, hold on a second. The only solution that you've given me is our politicians need to enforce the laws better. Obviously, what's happening in society, it's not working. We have 140.
You understand you're cutting me off before I actually get to finish.
You're
because
not
I would have
giving-
extended it to the schools, for example,
Okay.
because schools are obviously something we care about. You brought up Uvalde.
I'm
you know
talking
that there
about
was not a single armed security guard at Uvalde.
Yeah, we had about 25 to 30 officers that were armed. How did that work out?
And they were useless.
Yeah,
They were
exactly.
useless,
So don't
agreed.
use that excuse. We had 30 officers there that were cowards. We could talk about Parkland when you had Officer Peterson who had a gun. They had armed people there. That didn't work either. So let me go through this again with you and ask you the same question. What are some of your solutions? And then I'll give you mine, okay, Alex? What are some of your solutions other than you think lawmakers need to do a better job of enforcing the laws that are already on the books? I'll agree to disagree with you on that, okay? Give me something else that you think would work to lower the gun violence in this country, whether it's shootings in Chicago or whether it's a classroom shooting. Give me some ideas. That's all I want to do. So hopefully maybe we can agree on something.
Well, obviously, a lot of it comes down to mental crisis. I mean, as far as gang shootings, that's usually not the case. But as far as a mass shooting in a school, a church, or whatever, this is usually a situation of
mental health,
mental illness, breakdown.
Okay, so I agree.
Something like that.
So we agree. What is your solution to helping people that are mentally ill? Do you think?
Yeah, that's Brian. That's what I'm trying to get there.
Go ahead.
Okay. One of the simple solutions would be trying to identify the problems young. I would say it would be very important. For example, if I was a father and I had a child, I would go and say, what is my child actually doing?
And what do you do? And what do you do if you
comes down to?
And what do you do?
Holy shit, dude.
Okay, well. First of all, you got to watch your language because that's not a solution.
Pardon me.
That's not a solution. Okay, a solution is not mental health. A solution would be we need to allocate more funds to make sure that when we find people that we believe are mentally ill, they could get the health care they need. Can you please tell me? Can you please tell me what is?
I'm trying to agree with you.
Okay, great. So, okay, great.
Keep interrupting.
I'm interrupting because I've now had you on for 10 minutes and there's other callers because you're not really giving me solutions. Can you tell me what's in the big and beautiful bill that would help people that are mentally ill?
It's irrelevant to the.
No, it's not.
topic
It's not. It's completely relevant. And this is why I get frustrated with respect with people like you. In the big and beautiful bill, he's taken 20 million people off of Medicaid coverage. Under Medicaid, if you're mentally ill, you get to get therapy. You get to help with professionals. Why is it that you don't understand that Republicans and in the big and beautiful bill, Donald Trump are taking away people's health care so that they can get help? And that if you find your son or your daughter, like you said, who's doing something weird or acting weird, what the F are the parents supposed to do when they can't afford to take care of their kids because of the guy who I would imagine you might have voted for is taking away their health care? And then you have the gall to come on this show and say that has nothing to do with it. A solution is not we need to do a better job with mental health. A solution is how do we get there? And we don't get there by taking 20 million people off of health care coverage. What part of that do you not understand?
You understand you refuted your own point.
No, I didn't. Answer my question. What does a parent do? Answer my question. You can laugh all you want to. What does a parent do when they lost their health care coverage and they think their son is mentally ill? What are they supposed to do?
Put their foot down as parents.
Oh,
man.
you're an idiot. You are a complete idiot. Put their foot down. A parent is not a professional, you dummy. Put their foot down. Hey, son, you're mentally ill. But you know what? You're not going to be able to watch TV for a week if you keep acting strange and say you want to shoot people up. Do you realize how stupid you sound? Okay, to this dum-dum, because I gave him multiple opportunities to answer the question. Politicians need to do a better job. Mental health. Parents need to put their foot down, you idiot. We need to raise the age from 18 to 21. We need a mandatory class to teach someone how to shoot a weapon, how to store a weapon. We need to ramp up red flag laws. In some states in this country, you can threaten the life of somebody while it's against the law. The next day you get out of jail, you're allowed to purchase a weapon. We need to have comprehensive background checks. We need weapons, assault weapons off the streets. We need to ramp up illegal guns, mandatory prison sentences. You didn't mention any of those things because you're a buffoon. That's why. Parents need to put their foot down. Boy, what a great lawmaker you would be. Excuse me, sir. We have some of the largest gun violence in the world. We have 140 guns per 100 people. The politician, Alex, sir, what is your answer to all the gun violence? Parents need to put their foot down. You are an idiot, and you are not a serious person. I gave you multiple opportunities to come up with solutions, and then the idiots that want to get into the weeds with me on what an assault weapon is are the same idiots that say, well, you know what? Politicians need to put their foot down, and parents need to put their foot down. Somebody needs to put their foot down on your mouth, because I don't want you to ever call into this show again, because you just made everybody dumber. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Holy smokes. 702-221-SAVE if you want to be a part of the show. Let's go to Cheryl. Cheryl's next up on PTL, calling out of Illinois. What's up, Cheryl?
Hi, let me just turn on the...
Lower your radio for me, yeah, if you can. Thank you.
Yeah, first of all, I think you were brilliant with your call about the the shooting stuff.
Thank you.
But what I wanted to call about was this reconciliation bill and how I would like to see taxes paid. If they want to take that $1 billion and put it towards securing the White House, which future presidents will be using, I could be talked into that being okay. But Trump is building this thing that he alone is going to say is his. And when he doesn't get voted in a third term, he's going to hide there and he's going to have security. So it's all bogus. But I propose that money goes to securing the White House.
I don't have a problem with allocating funds to obviously secure the White House, but I don't think we really have an issue with the White House. I mean, I know there have been a couple instances of people that have tried to jump the gate, but I think the White House is extremely secure. My issue is when you have this dinner, it shouldn't have been done in a hotel like that. I thought that was absurd. Number one, the idea that just because somebody is staying in the hotel that they would have access to that area is unreal. It's so insane. I don't think a ballroom, and I think we agree on this, I don't think a ballroom is going to help anybody. I think that's also insane. And the fact that now they want to fork up the money from American taxpayers when you take away health care from people, I just think it's absurd, you know?
I guess I was just wanting to call their bluff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? It is an abomination if taxpayers are going to pay for this ballroom. It is an abomination.
Right.
Then you would have to look into the contractors. And it's just like the Kristi Noem situation where, you know, hiring contractors and making money from your friends or your boyfriends or your side pieces or whatever it is, Corey Lewandowski. This is all fraud. There's a reason why Donald Trump wants it done. And I'll tell you right now, not one of the reasons why he wants this ballroom is for security. It's about enriching his friends and enriching his family because he is a scam artist. That's what this ballroom is all about. It's what it was all about from day one.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the call, my dear. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You have a good rest of your day. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Please just be a little bit more intelligent than Alex. Holy smokes. That was stupid. Holy smokes. Let's go to Chad, who's calling out of Kentucky. Hello, Chad.
Hey, Brian, I wanted to talk to you about 4 different things.
Oh, that's a lot. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll try to go as fast as I can.
Okay.
First off, I think you should bring Roland on to debate Warren, because Roland knows facts and policies real good. He will eat them up.
You know what? That's a really good idea. I'll ask Roland to do that. But here's my problem. I kind of felt like I kind of feel like, don't tell Warren, but I kind of feel like this is going to be his last appearance on the show because I'm going to be very aggressive with him. Because I've had it with him.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's a good idea though. That's a good idea.
Yeah, he wanted to bring up rap music and all that stuff being bad. He don't know heavy metal forever. They try to say heavy metal make kids do all this bad stuff.
Listen, Chad, I agree with
You know what I'm saying?
Chad, I agree with you. Kid Rock once spoke about having sex with underage girls in his music. It's not
Well, he
just
still does.
Of course, it's not just rap music. But here's the thing: if you're a racist piece of scum, you're going to blame black people for all the problems in America, and that just isn't the case.
Yeah.
You know, there's plenty of movies out there with a bunch of white people. There's plenty of music out there with white people. It's not just black people that are singing rap music and you know with violent lyrics. It's white people also, but you would never hear that from Warren, right? When I bring up to Warren, hey Warren, are you aware that Kid Rock, MAGA's Saint, once sang lyrics about having sex with underage kids? What are their response? Oh, well, I'm unaware of that. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're always underwear. They never know nothing bad, but they always know the good stuff. Okay, another thing I wanted to say was white people need to look into themselves. And I hate when white people say, oh, I got black friends. Just because you go to work with somebody or you know them from school is not a friend. A friend is somebody you go to the house, you know, their mom, you spend a night with them, you know, their family.
Right.
That's a friend. They're talking about associates.
But wait a second,
Quit
Chad.
doing that.
Didn't you know that Donald Trump is the most least racist person you've ever met? Because he says that. He says that all the time. Look at my black friend over there. Look at my African American friend over there. Does anybody normal talk like that? Anybody?
No. But see, the crazy thing about it is, see, I got 3 mixed kids. I got to warn them more about white people than I do black people.
Right.
I got to tell them, watch out who they can trust because they're mixed, but people see them
Can I
as
ask
black.
you, Chad?
That's what these people need to understand.
Chad, can I ask you a question? How many black people do you think are in Warren's phone? Like how many cell phone numbers out of all the contacts he has?
Maybe 1 or 2, and they're just associates.
I agree. It's probably.
I guarantee he never went to the
Tim
house.
Scott. It's probably Tim Scott and Byron Donalds. That's right. Those are probably the only 2 black people in his phone. Yeah, I would agree.
Okay, and the last thing I want to talk about, I'm sick and tired how hypocritical these Republicans are. They need to do a commercial, Democrats do, and use that George Bush thing where he says, read my lips. There will be no taxpayers paying for this ballroom. That would win right there.
Hey, my friend, are you a parent? Do you have any kids?
I got 6 altogether.
Well, listen, just put your foot down, and that'll end all the violence in this country. Okay.
yeah, I know.
Thanks for the
Thank
call,
you,
my
Brian.
friend. Hey, great phone
Right.
call. Great phone call, my friend. Please
Thank
call
you.
back. I love you. Thank you. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. 702-221-7283. I believe we have Ray on. My eyesight is the worst, by the way. Ray is calling from Ohio, wants to talk about Donald Trump. Ray, what's going on?
Hey, so the stock market's up today, and it looks like Trump is on the verge of ending this war and get Iran to surrender to us.
Where's your evidence that they're going to surrender?
There's peace talks in the mix.
Who's talking? Who's talking in those peace talks? Who's talking?
United States, Texas, Trump.
And who in Iran has confirmed that they're talking?
It's look at the market. The market's
I
up.
didn't ask you about the market. I'm asking you about, you just said that they're in peace talks. Who in Iran has confirmed that they are in peace talks with Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump?
Well, the Iranians aren't going to tell the truth.
Oh,
We
okay.
know
But
that.
Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth are. Were they telling the truth? And was Donald Trump telling the truth when he said that the 175 school children that were murdered, it was Iran and their Tomahawk missiles? Was Donald Trump telling the truth?
He was fishing for information.
So it's misinformation. Okay, hold on a second. So Iran's lying when they say that they're not in peace talks. But when Donald Trump says that it was a Tomahawk missile from Iran, he was misinformed. Are you aware of how many countries in the world have Tomahawk missiles, Ray?
Quite a few.
No, only a couple, actually. And the United States is one of them, and Iran is not one of them. So, no, that's called a lie, Ray. When we were told that we obliterated their nuclear capabilities 8 months ago, was that honest or was that a lie?
Well, we partially did, so we have to go back.
No. That's not what he said. They didn't say we partially obliterated them. 8 months ago, Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump said, quote, we obliterated their nuclear capabilities. Was that a lie? I didn't say partially because that's not what they said. Was that a lie? Yes or no?
what if Iran hid some and didn't
That's
tell us?
not, I didn't ask you about what you think about what Iran did or didn't do. What I'm telling you is direct quotes from Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump. I'll repeat it again. Was Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth telling the truth 8 months ago when they said we obliterated their nuclear capabilities? Yes or no?
They were, as information changes.
Oh, the information.
situations
So the
change.
information changed. So they were telling the truth, and then they furthered their nuclear capabilities in 8 months. That makes complete sense. Was Tulsi Gabbard lying under oath when she said she had no reason to believe, based on her own intelligence, that Iran was furthering her nuclear capabilities? Was she lying under oath? That's okay.
Hold on a minute.
Oh, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. When you win a war, the other party has to give up concessions. Is that a fair assessment? By most standards, most people would say when you're in a war with your adversaries, when you're in a war with your enemies, excuse me, usually the person that wins a war, the other person has to give up concessions. Can we at least agree on that? Can we at least agree?
We can do
okay,
that.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, can you name me one concession that Iran has given up in the last 2 months?
They're going to get the Strait
Didn't
open,
ask you. Didn't
and
ask. I didn't ask you about predicting the future. I could care less what you think about the future. I need you to pay attention to my question. In the first 2 months plus of this war, can you name me one concession that Iran has given up?
Are we talking like in terms of?
I
like
will repeat.
snacks?
I will repeat the question again. It's a very simple one, but that's okay. I'll be patient with you. This war has gone on for, I think, 66 days or 65 days. We both agree that when you win a war or you're winning a war, the other party has to give up concessions or a concession. I'm asking you to name one concession that Iran has given up. Just one.
You mean like the hot dog stand or the pretzels? You mean like other things?
So, Ray, there are tens of thousands of innocent people that have died. Our brave... Okay, get rid of them. There are brave men and women that have come home in caskets. And Ray calls into this show and he laughs. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Donald Trump's base. These are not serious people. It's almost impossible to have a serious conversation with them. Iran has given up 0 concessions. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. There is no evidence from Iran that they are negotiating with America. The only thing we hear is from the White House, and every single day Donald Trump says they're begging to make a deal with me. Then why haven't they made one already, and why have they broken the ceasefire? 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Apparently, we have Bernie Sanders on the line. What an honor to be speaking with Bernie Sanders. Hello, Mr. Sanders.
Brian Shapiro, love you. We're dealing with a narcissistic, pathological liar. I've known this for years. Known him over 40 years. Keeps going on and on. Keep up the good work, son. This needs to be pointed out. Just a total ripoff.
Bernie, you're a big fan, but I would say the best impersonation of you was probably Larry David. Would you agree?
Definitely agree. I'm working on it. Definitely working on it.
Free healthcare for all.
Free healthcare for all. Eliminated. Food stamps eliminated.
It's a horrible Bernie.
Student loans.
It's a horrible Bernie Sanders impersonation. But you know what, sir? I'll give you credit because you tried. So I'll give you an A for effort. I appreciate the call. If you're going to call in, where's my Melania Trump impersonator? I need her to call back in. Thank you for the effort, sir. I love people who try to impersonate others. I wish somebody could call in and try to impersonate me. That'd be fun too. 702-221-7283. Let's see. Let's go to Upstate. He's calling from South Carolina, I believe. Upstate. Hello.
Hello, Brian.
Hi.
I have to go ahead and say this right off the bat. I'm congratulating you because you are starting to become a threat to the right. Because you are getting pranked. It's got to be Andrew Wilson people that are calling and doing these goofy phone calls.
I love it, man. I love it. I love the fact that on social media, a couple days ago, I was the highest trending story. I love the fact that they're knocking on me. I absolutely love it. They don't seem to understand that they're helping me. So obviously they see me as a threat when they make cartoons about me, when they talk about me nonstop. I put out a tweet yesterday about Rick Harrison, the owner of Pawn Stars, and it got like 1 million views in like 5 hours. So it's like,
yep,
you know,
but he's an awful person too.
Agree 100%.
I mean, and what gets to me is all these people that are like, you know, digging in on all this Trump stuff, man, this is nothing but just like a routine to them. It's a skit.
Yeah.
It's a sketch comedy thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm starting to get like way beyond nervous about things.
Yeah, I think you have a right to. Certainly I am too. A lot of my friends are getting threatened with lawsuits from the Trump administration and even Melania. Some of the stuff I can't talk about on the air, but let's just say that they're really starting to try to censor people. The more people that call me names on social media and the more people that keep talking about me on YouTube and breaking down, segments I do and stuff, it gives me more energy to do more and to keep it going. It's like they don't seem to understand that the time that I would be most concerned is when people stop talking about me. You know what I mean?
I do. I totally get that. And listen, as I'm easing out the door here, I want to say one thing. There are 3 people that I admire for keeping the fire burning. You, Jimmy Kimmel, and Jon Stewart.
Wow, that's some pretty damn good company, my friend. That's an honor for you to say. I really appreciate. Those 2 guys are so talented; they're unbelievable. I wish Jon Stewart were running for office someday, and I think Jimmy Kimmel is the best. And as I tweeted at him the other day, I said, "Please double down on your jokes about Melania Trump and Donald Trump. Please don't stop."
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Jon Stewart doesn't wind up getting pulled into office.
I love Jon Stewart. Not only is he brilliant, he's funny, and he cares. He's a good man who cares. And I have a lot of respect for Jimmy Kimmel as well, who, by the way, I don't know if you knew, he went to school here at UNLV. He used to work in radio here in Las Vegas, and I had the opportunity to meet him, the grand opening of his Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club here. He could not have been more gracious. And I said, please keep mocking Donald Trump. And we laughed together. Yeah, I met him. And then I don't know if you remember the comedian Jeff Ross. He's like an insult comic. I actually got up on stage with Ross, and I thought it was great because I love self-deprecation, and that's what these Wilson psycho. When I'm reading these comments, I'm laughing. It's funny. And I laugh at it because I trigger these people. And if I could be known as the most what's the way I could phrase this? The number one triggerer, for lack of a better term, of MAGA right, I will gladly take that badge of honor. That's what I want. What I want.
Don't grow the Don Trump Jr. beard though. Don't do that, please. You can trigger them all you want to, but don't do that, please.
All right, I'll do my best there, my friend. But I appreciate the compliments. That's very nice of you, and I appreciate the call, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. 702-221-7283. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's talk to Corey. I believe Corey is calling out of Pennsylvania. John Fetterman land, I guess you could say, Pennsylvania. Hello, Corey.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, man?
I just had a couple quick questions, and I was hoping we could have a bit of a conversation because I think you've done a good job in a lot of things that you've done, but nobody's perfect. And I just had a couple questions, if you wouldn't mind expanding on that.
Go ahead.
Did you, I don't really follow too much of like the political back and forth between you and other commentators, but did you ever apologize to the Wilsons over that closing remark when you tried to make that emotional connection over their son?
Absolutely not. I'll answer you. Absolutely not. In fact, I will double down on it because if people don't understand why I brought it up, then they're not very intelligent. And I will explain it to you once again, as I did to everybody. The reason why I brought that up, I'm trying to, you're asking me the question. Clearly you don't understand it. So please let me answer. We all have tragedies in our life. She has had tragedies in her life. And by the way, I'm really getting sick of even talking about this because it's wasting airtime, but I'll still, for the sake of argument, because you were respectful, I will answer. The connection that I was trying to make is I've had terrible tragedy in my life. She's had terrible tragedy in her life. Life is very short. Life is precious. I also told her how sorry I was for her loss. She didn't say anything about the loss in my life. The reason why I brought it up was to say people should live their lives the way they want to. Nobody else should tell them what to do because we're never guaranteed tomorrow. Now, if anybody doesn't understand why or doesn't understand it, then that's their problem. And I can tell you what, I can give 2 craps what people think. Okay. If they don't like the fact that I brought them up, they can go F themselves. I don't care. I'm not apologizing for it. I will never apologize for it. And if people aren't smart enough to understand that I was actually throwing an olive branch, trying to mention something sadly that we have in common to understand that life is short, then I don't care. Now, give me your other question.
Well, so, no, I just wanted to comment on that. So
No, I'm not
understand
interested.
that.
Okay, thank you. Now move on to the next
Yeah.
one. Yes, go ahead, sir.
Okay. Well, the next one was going to be if you were going to apologize to Savannah Hernandez for now that her abusers have.
Absolutely not. First of all, let me ask you a question. Are you innocent until proven guilty in a court of law?
Of course, absolutely.
Okay, so why would I apologize if nobody's been found guilty? That's number one. Why would I do that? Did I say that nobody? Have I ever said that nobody's going to be arrested? Have I ever said
No,
that?
and I think you've been pretty clear about that, actually.
Yeah.
But I just, now that, because before you shifted a little bit. Originally, it was nobody's been charged, nobody's been arrested.
Correct.
And now that there's actually been charges placed,
what were the charges?
you want to?
What were the charges?
I don't actually know the charges off the top of my head.
You don't know the charge. Okay, then why would you ask me about it if you're unaware of it?
Well, because I'm aware that they have.
I'll help you out. I'll help you out. I'll help you out. They were misdemeanor assault charges. You're innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. My understanding is there are also charges. I have some inside information that there are also charges going to be put forth on Savannah Hernandez. So I'm going to wait and see how this thing plays out. As I've said on 5 national networks in the last 3 weeks, if somebody is arrested, they're charged, and they're convicted, then let the chips fall where they may. Why would I apologize to Savannah Hernandez, who is a right-wing grifter? I doubled down on everything that I said to her, and these charges would not have been filed if Donald Trump and Kash Patel weren't in charge. If there was Joe Biden or Barack Obama or, quite frankly, any sane president, this would not have happened. So no, to answer your question, even if the Ostrowski family and Chris is sentenced, he's not going to get any jail time. You will never see me apologize to Savannah Hernandez for anything because she is a lying scumbag. So I hope I was very clear with you on that.
Okay, I could appreciate that.
Okay, good.
On the accusation that she's lying and she's a grifter, I'm sure you're a very intelligent man and you're very aware. I assume that you're aware that typically for people who experience whiplash injuries, those injuries manifest 24 to 48 hours after the incident.
Then why was it 48? Then why was it 48 hours after the incident? She did the Laura Ingraham show. She did the Glenn Beck show. She did OAN, and she did multiple different podcasts. She did like 7 or 8 podcasts. So if that's the case, that it's 24 to 48 hours after, then why was she doing all these podcasts? Why hasn't she released her medical records? When I asked her, where are your
Okay.
Yeah. Why did she do all these?
I would assume
if you're suffering from a
concussion, reason lots of people continue to work after they're injured.
Got you.
They need to work.
No. She didn't have to do any of these interviews. She wasn't getting paid to do any of these interviews. She did it for PR. So if you're in a lot of pain and you have a concussion and you have headaches, which she claimed that she had, which, by the way, I still don't believe, then you wouldn't do 8 networks on the right in the same day that she claimed that she had this massive concussion. So no, I'm going to double down on everything that I've said about Savannah Hernandez. I believe she's a right-wing grifter with zero credibility. She's not a journalist. She wants the clicks. She wants the attention. She wouldn't have been on Laura Ingraham's show or any of these other shows if she was pushed. I don't believe she had a concussion. I think she's a liar with zero credibility. So to review, sir, I owe Savannah Hernandez no apologies. She's an imbecile and a grifter. I owe absolutely no apologies to the Wilsons. They're both despicable human beings. I got my paycheck and I got out of there, and Savannah Hernandez, screw her. Did I answer both of your questions, sir?
You are very consistent, if nothing else, and I can appreciate that for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate I appreciate the phone call. I think that's all you get are 2 stupid questions. And have a nice day, sir. 702-221-7283. I'm very consistent. Unlike the people who you probably listen to on the radio every day, I'm very consistent. Let's go to Rhonda. Rhonda is calling from Indiana. Rhonda, what's going on?
Hello.
What's up?
This is Rick.
Oh, okay. I got your name wrong. It said Rhonda. I apologize. Go ahead, Rick.
Oh, that's all right. Hi, how you doing?
Doing good, Rick.
No, but why is it? I think people should be more terrified, and people keep talking about these elections. I know we're not going to have them.
You're talking about the midterms, or are you talking about 2020? Yeah. You're talking about the midterms. Yeah.
Yeah. If he rigs the elections, he'll be the king. And people keep calling this thing the ballroom, right? Mm-hmm. It's a bunker. Yeah. It's a Hitler bunker. He hates everybody. Him and Putin are going to be in cahoots to get Putin in Ukraine and whatever Trump is trying to kill us because he hates us, but he's about to die. And a lot of these blue cities are going to go up in a nuclear holocaust. But, you know, they live in a lark.
I'm going to be honest
They all
with
live
you.
in a lark.
I'm going to be
Do you
honest
think
with
they're bad?
If you said that to me 2 years ago, I would have said, "Man, this guy's crazy." But I got to be honest with you. When I get these phone calls now, I don't say that. In fact, I say the opposite. I understand why you would say that. I understand. A part of me agrees with you. I don't want to agree with you, but a part of me agrees with you because of the state of the affairs that this country's in right now. So I can understand why you feel that way. I can.
Yeah, if you go back to the first 4 years, he was getting together with Putin off record, right? There's no record. He was hanging out with Putin, and nothing gets recorded anymore.
Yeah.
You know, everything's a secret. And, you know, and this Epstein shit. I mean,
Watch the language. Watch the language. Watch the language.
The guy, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yep. Hour and a half conversation with Vladimir Putin. Why don't we get the transcript of that conversation?
Oh, they didn't have them. They had no one in there except Trump, an interpreter, and Putin.
So
Everything
insane.
was off the record.
So
It's
insane.
insane. I think they're just making plans.
Oh, I think they're
I
making
mean-
plans to get Vladimir Putin more money. The two people, the beneficiaries of this Iran war, as you know, is Vladimir Putin and Benjamin Netanyahu. It's certainly not America. It's certainly not people like you and me, right? The two people that have benefited from this war the most, Benjamin Netanyahu and Vladimir Putin. I'm sure that's what they were continuing to talk about, my friend, and I do appreciate your phone call, and I understand your concern. Thank you very much. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you would like to be a part of the conversation. All right, let's get back to the phone calls here. And I believe we're going to go to Rhonda now. Now we go to Rhonda in Indiana. Sorry about that, Rhonda. What's going on?
That's okay. I got this, and thanks for taking my call,
Sure.
Brian. And how are you today?
Doing all right.
I just wanted to let you know I worked the polls yesterday in Indiana, and there was some news out there that Trump's people were overcoming some of the Republican things. But I just want to encourage people to keep voting. And for one thing, it re-registers you for the next election. And then also, we're from the Democratic area here in Northwest Indiana, along with Indianapolis area. But just because they're reporting that I don't believe that's true. So, and people may have crossed party lines.
Remember what Donald Trump has said about this war every single day for the last 2 months, that Iran is begging to make a deal. I guess they're still begging.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What a joke. And he's such a taco.
Yep.
He's changed his mind again.
Well, but wait a second. But wait a second. This is a success because we blockaded the blockade. So it's a success.
Yeah.
Yeah. According to Pete Hegseth, even though they blocked the Strait of Hormuz, we blockaded the blockade. So it's a huge success for America. Huge success.
I don't know. They just need to get him out of office some way or how, whatever it would take, because he's obviously unhinged.
He's been unhinged for a very long time, but I think it's getting to the point of elder abuse, if you ask me. This guy's bat-you-know-what crazy, and unfortunately, he wants the nuclear codes. Allegedly, a few weeks ago, he asked for them, and they wouldn't give them to him. So thanks for the call, my dear. 702-221-7283. 702-221-SAVE. Let's go to Mike. I believe he's calling out of Colorado, and he wants to talk about the homeless issue. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, Brian, I used to work for a homeless place that delivered food to homeless shelters, and it was nonprofit. And a lot of the homeless are helpful and will work a little bit. Even when I was in jail, the homeless people would keep their cells very clean compared to anybody else. I mean, I was put in a cell with several homeless people, and they always kept things really tidy. They were really clean people.
Well, because, I mean, obviously that's not the case with all homeless people, but I do think some homeless people are, I got to be honest with you, they're very creative in how they live and where they live and how they're able to survive. I can tell you, I wouldn't be able to do it. So I certainly give them credit for that. And there's a sense of sorrow. You know, a lot of these, I think you would agree with me, right? I mean, a lot of these people, they have substance abuse issues. They have mental health issues. And I want them to be members of society that pay taxes and get in the workplace. But you got to get mentally right first, right? I mean, we got to be able to put these people in facilities where they can get help. And that costs money.
Yeah. And that's some of it. There's, family problems and stuff like that involved that people don't know about. And sometimes, they know they're innocent on one thing, so they're running away from hiding from other people.
Right.
As well as they want to say they're living underneath the radar and hiding from the cops even.
Yeah.
But the only time they want to go to jail is being in the wintertime where they can stay warm, get fed, and be, showered and cleaned up.
I think that California and Gavin Newsom had the right idea when they put them in these hotel rooms that were not being used, right? These hotel rooms that have been closed for a while, but there's only so much you can do there. I just think with all the money that this country does have and the capabilities we have, instead of, $1 billion, imagine what $1 billion can do to help your city or your state when it comes to the homeless issue. Imagine what $2 billion a day, this war in Iran, which I think is going to end up costing us trillions, what it could do to help the homeless issue, what it could do to help people that need a roof over their head. But this is the history of the Republican Party. They don't care about middle-class America. It shows with the way they vote, the biggest tax breaks for the richest people. They certainly don't care about the most vulnerable people, people like you, or people that are suffering, people that are living paycheck to paycheck, people that come out of jail and they do their time and they want to be a member of society. They're rehabilitated. We don't help people like you. We don't help the homeless. We don't help people and senior citizens. Why would a woman who is in her 70s have to work as a DoorDash delivery person to try to save her husband's life who has cancer? We're supposed to celebrate that?
Exactly.
We're supposed to celebrate that, dude? It's crazy, right?
No, not really.
Yeah.
We should be giving them money to help out so they can just, take care of that person and everything.
Right, of course.
That is sick.
If you're a compassionate human being, that's the way you would think. Yeah.
Right. And so, it's kind of weird how the rich is Trump's buddies are making us broke by raising up price gas, raising up price of food and everything on us, because everything has to be transported from a train to a truck.
Yeah, I thought all the prices were going to be going down on day one. I thought on day one he was going to lower all the prices. I thought on day one he would end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. I thought he was going to build a wall and Mexico was going to pay for it. I thought he was going to hire a special prosecutor to go after Hillary Clinton. What happened to all those promises? Well, he did. I will say this. I'll give him credit. He did fulfill one of his promises. He did pardon a bunch of January 6th insurrectionists who beat police officers to a pulp. He did do that. So congratulations on that, Mr. President. You did fulfill one of your promises. And I know there's a lot of MAGA Republicans out there that are very proud of that. Very proud of that.
I know. I hate them too.
Yeah, so do I, my friend.
My dad's an ex-cop that's retired.
Oh, boy. So it's personal to you. Absolutely, my friend. And then
there's a lot of personal things.
And I was when I was on Pierce last week, the guy McGinnis said that police started January 6th. How could you have a conversation
I just heard that?
How could you have a conversation with somebody like that who thinks that?
I don't know. It's like, didn't you watch the video? It's like Renee Good and like that guy Alex.
Yeah.
How can you not say that people did wrong?
I'll tell you why.
I'll
tell you why.
I think Trump's this ICE agent is Trump's people that attacked the Capitol.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Let's say what you want, but I'll tell you this. Renee Good and Alex Preddy died heroes as far as I'm concerned. Why? Renee Good was in that street, whether you agree with her trying to drive away or not. And by the way, I don't believe she was trying to injure anybody. She was trying to get out of there because she was scared. She was thinking about complete strangers. She didn't like the way ICE, and I think any reasonable person does, the way ICE treating people. She was thinking about complete strangers. Same thing with Alex Preddy. Alex Preddy's last words were, "Are you okay, ma'am?" He was trying to help out a woman he didn't even know that was pushed to the ground violently by an ICE agent. Renee Good's last words were, "I'm not mad at you, bro." She, and instead of talking to her and trying to reason with her, they swear at her, they try to pull the door open, and they got a cop going from the back of the car to the front of the car. Those people are murderers. Make no mistake about it. In my opinion, Jonathan Ross is a murderer, and now he's back on the streets. Jonathan Ross is a murderer, and those people who executed Alex Preddy are murderers, is what they are. They executed him.
Yeah, he's sick, and they're sick.
Yeah, no, I hear you, my friend. I appreciate it. I appreciate the call, and I'm glad that you're a member of society now. Whatever you did, I don't need to ask. But I'm glad that you got out, and you sound like you're a very intelligent, good man, and I'm glad it sounds like you're doing a lot better, and I'm happy to hear that for you, sir, and I appreciate you, and I'm glad you're on the right side of history. Trust me when I say I'm glad. 702-221-SAVE. Before we get to the next caller, I just want to read a quick YouTube super chat from John Damon. Is that Johnny Damon? My Red Sox, Johnny Damon, who is a former he was a leadoff for the Yankees too. We don't need to talk about that. Johnny Damon's done my show before. I love Johnny Damon. So John Damon says the idea of the ballroom was never brought to Congress to a vote, forcing America to pay for something that didn't even follow the law at all. John, I completely agree with you 150%, my man. Thank you for helping my Boston Red Sox to win a World Series. I also appreciate that. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Andy, who's calling out of Ron DeSantis land, Florida, and Ron DeSantis' sexy white boots. I'm sure Andy agrees with me on that one. Andy, what's going on?
He's an arrogant SOB, and I don't think so. Anyway, so they're going to take it to the Supreme Court. I don't think it's going to pass because it's in the Constitution where you can't gerrymander.
Can I ask you a question, though, Andy? Can I ask you before you get to your point? So there are rumors that Ron DeSantis is going to be working in the Trump administration. What are they saying in Florida about this? Have you heard about this?
I really haven't heard. There's a lot of people that have turned on him down here. I know there's a lot of people that are absolutely pissed off at him for kissing the orange turd's ass. So I have no idea. So I probably wouldn't do it, and that's the only reason why he tried the gerrymander, so he can kiss the orange turd's ass.
Well,
And,
you're probably right. You're probably right about that. I'm happy to hear that there are some reasonable people out there in Florida. So what's on your mind today?
Well, so anyway, I was watching this video, and why would any parent let their kids go visit the White House with this orange turd talking to that little girl and absolutely talking down to her and saying that she's too short to play sports? Wow, you're a role model. Yeah. You're supposed to be a role model and say that, to keep on, make sure you work hard to play sports and all that. But what does he do? Well, you're too short to play sports.
Yeah, what a stupid
Why
comment.
would any parent let their kids go visit that?
Well, that's a very good point that you bring up. And the only reasons that I could come up with is these are white, middle-aged, elitist people who Donald Trump is saving a lot of money in the pocketbook, for lack of a better term. They are Trump mushroom gobblers. They don't care what Donald Trump does. They don't care what Donald Trump says. They do not care. All they care about is what is in their bank account and their bottom line. These are elitists. He's not inviting people to the White House that are living paycheck to paycheck. He's not inviting people to the White House with kids that can't put food on the table, which is a good portion of America.
Exactly.
The families that were invited to the White House come from very wealthy families. They are all
that's true.
That's who they are. Do you see a lot of do you see a lot of families being invited from broken homes or from poor areas? Of course not.
He's probably.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound disgusting, but he's probably looking at that little girl and say, "Oh, I'll probably be dating her in about 20 more years."
He has made those statements before. I
know that.
Listen,
just like
listen,
that little girl that was going up
sir,
the escalator.
Sir, I get this comment all the time where people say, "How can you call Donald Trump a pedo? Where's your evidence?" And here's my response. I say, can you please explain to me why Ghislaine Maxwell's been treated the way she has? They can't get
exactly.
And then
amen.
And then they say, I don't know. And then I say, okay, so at a minimum, then he's protecting pedophiles. So then we start there.
Exactly.
And usually I get I even get the dumbest people in the world to admit that, okay, he's protecting them. Then I go to the times that he's over 30,000 times named in the Epstein files. The fact that there are still 3 million files that haven't been shown to the public. The fact that there are allegations in the Epstein files that he sexually abused young girls. We have no explanation from the FBI as to why they didn't continue to conduct that investigation. We have 25 women that have come forward that have accused Donald Trump of sexual assault or rape. We have that along with the fact that, yes, Donald Trump is a liable sexual abuser. So you add all those together.
He even told MTG that the reason why he won't release him because he said to her that there would be a lot of people hurt. Oh, okay, all right.
Well,
but you know what? These maggots believe everything that comes. All he does is spew out a bunch of turd. And all these maggots freaking believe his ass, and that's why they voted for him. Because, so there was a news outlet up in Tallahassee who's down here in local TV. So there was this news reporter going around Tallahassee, and these people filling up with gas the other day.
Yeah.
And so there was this couple that said that this is getting ridiculous, and they voted for Trump because he said he was going to lower grocery prices and stuff stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would have just loved to go up to their face and say, "You are stupid. You got played, and you get what you voted for. But I'm suffering for your stupidity."
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Isn't that the problem? That's the issue. The issue, and thank you for the call, by the way, sir. I think you make some very valid points. Isn't that the issue? Because of all these stupid people in this country, and I'm not saying everybody who voted for Donald Trump is stupid, but most of the people in this country that are stupid certainly voted for Donald Trump. They're not only suffering for it, but people like you and me are suffering for it as well. So I couldn't agree with you more. Let's go to Dave. Dave calling from California. What's up, Dave?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
For one thing, he is a pathetic piece of you-know-what, jackass.
Yep.
He stinks. He's ugly. Why would any woman want to sleep with him? He's the most disgusting pig I've ever seen in my whole life. And these people that voted for him, you're just as disgusting as he is. And as far as I'm concerned, this, whatever the hell it is that he's building, it doesn't matter. If the Democrats take control of the House and if it doesn't ever get built or whatever, you know what's going to happen? They're gonna tear it down anyway.
Yeah.
The Democrats are going to take control,
Yep.
and they're going to tear down that stupid ballroom, because they don't want nothing to do with him and have no name on him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying?
Yeah, no, I do. I know exactly what you're saying. What's so frustrating to me is that it seems to me that every single day that passes, this war is getting more and more out of control from the standpoint of two sides not being able to, let alone some sort of agreement. And I think in the end, Iran is the one that's going to benefit from this. That's what I'm in fear of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I just think that, this is a disaster of a president. Why is it that every single time when a stupid Republican gets into office, we end up going to war, like I predicted? Remember when I told you that?
Yep.
Remember I said that, hey, we're going to go to war, Brian. Remember I told you? And you said like, oh, I don't know about that. And then all of a sudden we end up going to war.
Yeah.
It's sad.
And
Every Republican, we go to war all the time. It's why is it that we don't do it with the Democrats? Have you seen the Democrats ever gone to an illegal war? I've never seen it because I'm 62 and I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't either, but I can tell you this: in the history of this country, Dave, as you know, it seems to only be Republicans that get us into these ill-advised wars. It's not Democrats. These warmongers on the right are the ones that get us into these wars, but yet they want to talk about conserving. They want to talk about wasteful spending. You go back to the days of George W. Bush, we're still paying off that war. Now we have a new one. I mean, it's just, these people are such hypocrites, man. It's sick to me. It really is.
They're pathetic, Brian.
Yeah.
They're so pathetic.
Yeah. I could use
pathetic.
I could use some other words to describe that, Dave, but I certainly appreciate the call. Thank you so much. All right. So we got a big guest joining us on the program tomorrow. I've been wanting to get him on for the last few weeks here since the Scott Jennings incident that took place last week. The awesome Adam Mockler is going to be joining us on the show tomorrow. You're certainly not going to want to miss that. On Friday, I believe Leonard Cardinal is going to be joining us on Friday as well. He couldn't make it today, but so Warren Smith has done this show multiple times. This is going to be a different appearance, and it most likely will be his last appearance. He has lied about me online. He's lied about me on social media, and I'm going to finally hand it to him the way I know how. He's agreed to come on. He knows I'm going to be sharing a lot of grievances and receipts. And this will probably be his last appearance. So we'll see what happens. I just got word that Kamala Harris, our former vice president, is going to be in Las Vegas tomorrow. So definitely going to try to get a little bit more information on that. People don't tell me these things. It's very strange. But anyway, Kamala is going to be in town tomorrow. And of course, your phone calls tomorrow as well. Again, Adam Mockler from Midas Touch is going to be joining us on the show tomorrow. So you're certainly not going to want to miss that. Hey, got to ask all you guys for a favor now. The Facebook page, I think, is entering 130,000 subs, which is great. We just passed 170,000 subs on YouTube. So the show is ever so growing. Lovers and haters, I accept all of them. But go to my website. It's pushingthelimits.live. Again, that website is pushingthelimits.live. So you go to the website, you'll see a little icon there that says donate. By the way, we are working on some PTL fedoras as we speak and some shirts. We just got to get that lined up. But you go to pushingthelimits.live. live, and you'll see that little icon that says donate. Whatever you can afford, we greatly appreciate your supporting independent media and what we do. We rely on good people like you. $5 a month, $10 a month, or just a one-time donation. We so appreciate that. So on the bottom of your screen, pushingthelimits.live. Again, it's pushingthelimits.live. And we appreciate you. And we appreciate your support of the show, and all of you that have supported me. I'm greatly humbled by it, and I'm going to keep fighting so long as you stay there and you keep supporting what I do. I'm going to keep doing what I do. So thank you very much. All right, everybody. I'm going to be doing Brooklyn Dad Defiance podcast this afternoon. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a few other podcasts, the new OAN podcast and the Roland Martin show. So I got a busy day. Busy of course of the next 24 hours. Can't wait to talk to Adam Mockler. He's going to be joining us on the show tomorrow for Midas Touch. Brilliant young man. We are going to take a 22-hour break. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Have a great day.
Nevada voters. Primary is June 9th. Early voting starts May 23rd. Hi, this is